Hey there. Didn't know you were watching. You may want to know why I'm doing things this way. Trying to fill these gaps in this floor is painstaking, to say the least. But there's methods to my madness. And so I thought I might show you why I do the things that I do and why I choose to do a butt welding type situation as opposed to doing an overlap, which an overlap would be much better. And I do have an overlap in one area on this car, but I'm going to show you why I think it's better to go ahead and do the butt welding. I have two brand new, perfectly clean pieces of sheet metal, and I've got them butt to butt with just a tiny, space in between, like a fingernail width, depending on how thick your fingernails are. So I'm going to put two little welds on this piece of metal. Okay, one here and one here. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to overlap it. And we'll weld two spots on it. And we're going to see which one's stronger. Maybe I should put a helmet on. That'd be a good idea. Now this one I've got overlapped, okay? You see that it's overlapped this way? I'm going to hit here first because this is going to tend to want to move away from itself. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little dot there and a little dot there. And then we're going to compare the strength on the two. That's crazy. Okay, butt weld. Actually had to tear the metal out to get that one to come apart. And flange weld. Well, there you go. This one, we actually tore the metal, trying to get it apart. You can see where the metal was torn. So butt weld is stronger. It's more tedious and it's a pain in the butt. But when you flange weld, you can get corrosion in between the joints, and it's just not as strong. The strength-wise is not significant enough to say don't do it one way or the other, to be honest with you. But with a flange, you either got to weld both sides of it. Like when you do a flange, do it this way. If you do a flange, you've got to weld this side and this side in order to seal it good. Otherwise, you're going to put seam sealer here, and then seam sealer gets old, cracks, and the next thing you know, you got corrosion. Butt welds, you're not going to have that problem. The other thing, of course, you can put primer stuff in between, but you're still going to have a compromised joint over time. Spot welds would be the same way. You're still going to get corrosion between the joints. I like the butt weld mainly because I don't have any place for corrosion to happen. Once we seal off this weld and we put a sealer over the weld, there's not going to be any corrosion between the two. Strength-wise, you can see that the butt weld was a tiny bit stronger. It allows more flexing. This is really, really thin metal, so this is not the best of ways to show you because this metal was so thin. But it does show you that with a flange, you know, of course, with a few more, either way, you're not compromising strength that much to make it say don't do it. But for the corrosion factor, I would say don't do it, okay? Because once your seam sealer gets old, now everything's new, all things are equal, right? And I'll be honest with you, butt welding is a pain in the butt. That's probably why they call it butt welding. No, that's not really why, it's because it's butt to butt, but it's a pain because you're gonna get, and both of these I blew holes in the first demonstration, and I'll show you a quick snippet of that. Because this metal is so stinking thin. Golly. How thin is that? But you've got to really barely tack when you're dealing with metal this thin. When you're dealing with floor pans a little bit thicker, it's probably more like 10 or 12 gauge, 14 gauge, something like that. This is like 20 gauge. It's really, really thin. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that real quick. Butt welding, I think, is better for two reasons. Strength, it's a little bit stronger, but mostly corrosion factor is my biggest thing. And if you plan on keeping a car for any length of time and or ever drive it where it might get water or salt or anything up into it, you know, butt welding is the way to go. So that's why I'm doing this car with butt welds. It is a pain in the hiney, or in the butt as we put it, for butt weld. But it is better in my opinion. So that's why I do it. That's why I do the things I do. It's the way you do the things you do, right? But I hope you enjoyed this. I'm not going to bore you with hours and hours of me welding this up, because there's going to be putting in tack welds, and then there's going to be manipulating steel, metal, bringing things up so that they match better, and there's just a whole lot of going on. And I'm not going to bore you with hours and hours of welding and fitting and tapping, and yeah. So I figured I'd just go over that real quick for you and call it a video. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Oh, and this is my new GoPro camera. So this is a trial and error video to see if I like the GoPro compared to my other camera. I actually broke my last camera, but I bought another one just like it, and they're not expensive. But I wanted to compare the quality of the GoPro. So if you watch this video, let me know if the quality is that much better. And I've got one friend that's watching. He's my IT guy, and hey Kevin. And I know he's going to give me some input on it, because he was telling me that my sound wasn't so good on the last one. I still don't have any way to hook sound to the GoPro, so I'm still in the sound deficit here on the quality of my videos. I'm still working on that, folks. I'm working on getting better quality videos, better sound, better as time goes on. This will be GoPro versus I'll do a small shot with my other camera, my other new camera that's just like the old camera, and we can compare the two. So let me do a little bit of welding and a tiny bit of talking with the other camera, and that way we can compare that too. So this won't only be a why do I do the things that I do the way that I do the things that I do, but it'll also be a hey, let's compare my two cameras. So stay tuned and let me get the other camera. I might just show all of this because this camera seems to be a lot more sensitive to lighting and what have you. And this is the first time I've actually used this camera as well. I'm going to go ahead and focus on the welding. We'll show you some of the welds because I showed you a little bit of welding with the GoPro. And we're going to compare cameras. This part of the video is going to be simply camera comparisons only. And this camera is significantly easier to use, I must admit, but only because I'm familiar with it and its functions. But it is also much more fragile, or fragile, however you want to look at it. The other one, I accidentally knocked the tripod over and broke the little video part of it. The camera still works, but the video part of it is no good. So for the comparison of GoPro versus cheap junk, this camera we're dealing with right now is a $79 Walmart special. The GoPro is a GoPro, right? GoPro 13. Nice camera, very tiny, very, very tiny, which for these eyeballs is not necessarily a good quality, but if you have to carry it for any length of time, it's pretty good, and I can get it into tight spots. So when I'm doing up close stuff, you know, in tight on engine work, the GoPro is going to be really top notch, I'm sure. I'm going to go ahead and let's do a little bit of welding on this particular camera and see how it looks. And you let me know in the comments just which camera is best. So the GoPro I'm going to keep for close-ups on tight spaces because it's tiny. But I kind of, be honest with you, I'm liking this camera better. Just because I'm familiar with it. So you let me know. But if the GoPro is that much better, then we will stick with it on all of my videos. And yeah, let's just do some welding and see what we got. Back to the lighting. Woo, yeah. Woo. Another thing I may want to point out, the GoPro used up 10% of its power doing that bit of video that I showed you. I don't know how much this one's going to use. It doesn't really give me a percentage. It just gives me a little green battery, and that green battery slowly goes away over time. And so I really can't compare apples and apples on that one. But it looks like I got some welds in there already. But now I didn't clean this real good, and I did that on purpose because the edges should be clean. And this is weld through primer. But I'm going to just do the areas that are even at the moment. This is a really big gap here, so this will be a good show. Well, I'd imagine you've seen enough. Well, this lighting. Woo-wee. There we go. Well, anyway, I'd imagine you've seen enough of this welding to understand how tedious butt welding can be. But in the long run, your car is going to last a lot longer. So I'm going to get back to this many hours of welding I have to do on this car. I see I've probably been working on the camera for, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know. But anyway, and I've got 4 inches of weld so far. Now, some guys will tack all the way around, and that's a good idea if your panels match up perfectly. This one, I'm having to form it as I go, so what I'm doing is I'm putting my bead, keeps the metal warm, and then I keep hammering the metal into shape as I go, which is fine. If you're doing a panel on a body, on the outside of the body, you will not want to do that, simply because it creates a lot of heat. But on a floor pan, these are pretty heavy metal, and you know, it's a floor pan. Nobody's ever going to ever see it, and if they do, it's going to look just fine, because you're not going to warp anything in this amount of weld and in this area. So, but if you're doing a big panel like on a van or on a rear quarter, yes, you are going to want to put a dot of weld, move on, another dot of weld, move on, another dot of weld. But in this case, we're filling a lot on a butt weld, and so we're creating a little bit more heat than I like to, but we're keeping the metal soft and warm so that we can form it as we go. Anyway, that's pretty much my methodology. May or may not be right. It's my way. But I appreciate you all watching. I hope you learned a little bit about the difference between butt welding and flange welding. Flange, it's all about corrosion, right? For 5 years, you might be fine. Maybe 10. But how many of these cars? This car's been around since 1975. So that's 85, 95, 2005, 2015. That's 50 years. Okay? 50 years. Has it really been that? There's no way. 75, 85, 95, 2005, 2015. Holy Moses, this car's 50 years old. That's almost as old as me. Wow. Daggum. So 50 years. And we're putting floor pans in this thing. So if we wanted to go another 50 years, we want to make sure we create areas that are not going to corrode. And that's the idea behind this. I guess it went 50 years. Of course, I don't know how long it's been rusted. Probably a while. But 20 years. Can your newer cars last 20 years without rusting? My idea is to make this car go another 50 and not need floor pans. That's my goal. If it's taken care of the way I think my friend is going to take care of it, hey Bill, you know, hopefully keep it in a garage, baby it. It'll get wet. I'm sure it'll hit the rain every once in a while. Because what's the fun in having a car if you're gonna just never let it out in the rain, right? I mean, if you want to go to a car show, go on a cruise, it's gonna get in the rain. But we want to keep this car from ever rusting again. Now, I can't guarantee it'll never rust again, but I can almost say it'll never rust in my lifetime. How's that? Good enough? Anyway, maybe even in Billy's lifetime. Unless he just goes and drives it into the ocean or something. It's probably going to rust if he does that. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Watch the commercials, you know, because believe it or not, I make like a 1/10 of a penny every time you watch. Not even that much. It's like a 1/100th of a penny every time you watch a commercial. I appreciate that. So hey, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. See ya.